part that I'm going through is all straight from his report, pre-hypnosis. So as Barney watched the object tilt down, started to descend, and he could make out he said he could make 8 to 11 figures standing at the windows watching him. He said they were stationary and then suddenly became active. Then they turned their backs to him and started pulling levers on the back wall of what appeared to be a corridor. And then 2 red lights moved outwards on extending fin-like structures. And Barney then described the figures, and this is according to Webb. This direct quote. The figures, according to Barney Hill, were of human form, dressed in shiny black uniforms and black caps with peaks or bills on them. The uniforms were like glossy leather. When they were standing at the windows, you could see them down to their waists. Skipping, the figures reminded the observer of the cold precision of German officers. So this is all pre-hypnosis. Now the other part of this is Betty wrote down Betty was having dreams, and this is where the abduction scenario comes from. And again, this is pre-hypnosis. Betty wrote down her dreams. She made a narrative and she put them in order, which she says that she didn't dream them in the order she presents them. And that's where the whole abduction scenario comes in. And in her dream, she describes creatures basically taking them out of the car, and then taking them to the craft, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. 2 creatures in front of her, 2 creatures in back of her, and the same with Barney. And then them both being taken to examination rooms. And the classic stuff that comes out of this that many people talk about is Benny describing having a needle stuck into her navel, which sound and being told it was a pregnancy test. Amniocentesis was around at the time, but it was not common at all, and Benny wouldn't know this. And then also having creatures coming in excitedly,
I'm bad with names,
pulling her teeth, and then wondering why her teeth didn't come out like Barney's, and she explained to them that it was because Barney had dentures. So the weird thing, one thing that Betty does is also in the dreams is she describes the creatures. And so you heard the creatures, basically one of the things I was doing in the whole section on abductions was trying to see how the Greys ended up becoming the archetype aliens. And at this point, they're definitely not. This is Betty describing the creatures. She said they were larger, their chests were larger than humans, and they had large noses like Jimmy Durante's. She does describe their skin as being gray, like gray paint with a black base, and their eyes and hair as being very dark, possibly black, and their lips as having a bluish tint. What's really interesting is once they get into hypnosis, Barney describes the classic UFO abduction stuff, and seems extremely traumatizing. Betty tells the same story she tells in her dreams, but she doesn't describe the creatures during the hypnosis sessions at all. But it's the archetype of abduction stories. So that's the theory of the case.
What do you think about her ability to be able to produce that star map from them?
Yeah, well, and that's the other story. That was taken on. She did the star map. I think it's interesting. There, could be something to it, but as to an exhaustive job of stringing different colored beads to represent different stars, and using all the star maps available in the day. This is in the late 60s, and in a process of elimination, trying to find a star system that could support life and that looked like what Betty drew, determined as Zeta Reticuli. And the whole story of how she did this was in an early issue of Astronomy magazine. and it was headlined the Zeta Reticuli, excuse me, Zeta Reticuli incident. It was written by Terence Dickinson, December 1974 issue of Astronomy magazine. And this is where the whole process of how fish went about determining the Zeta Reticuli was what Betty had drawn. Years later, the article was revisited in an October 31st, 2016 online version of Astronomy magazine, headlined "The Zeta Reticuli or Radiculi Incident." Introductory commentary by editor David Eicher. He said it probably cost Terry his job and damaged the magazine's credibility, and said it was still being referred to as the Zeta Reticuli incident. But Marjorie Fish herself, her obituary, which appeared in the April 10th, 2013 News Herald, it says, after newer data was compiled, Fish determined that the binary stars within the pattern were too close together to support life. So as a true skeptic, she issued a statement that she now felt that the correlation was unlikely. But even with that, Zeta Reticuli still remains the place where many people think the archetype grays come from.
Let me ask you another question about that real quick. But wasn't that from the perspective of her being, it looked as if it was from the view of being off planet, like looking back at Earth, and that's why everyone was so shocked that she was able to describe what she saw. Talk about Betty.
Yeah.
I believe something was happening out there, and if so,
I think if you're interested in the Uinta Basin, I should really look at Junior Hicks. He was one of the first investigators out there to look into weird tales being told by people all around the area. So it's not just Skinwalker Ranch. So as far as the tale as it's told in the books unfortunately are completely the original book is completely anecdotal. So I would say for anybody really interested in that area, go look up Junior Hicks.
I'm going to.
Okay, right.
I'm definitely going to. Okay, Junior Hicks. Let me ask you something about, as far as like, you've been doing this for a long time. Have there been any stories that have really stuck with you? I mean, let's talk about something as far as the military is concerned. Have you investigated like military personnel? I'm thinking.
The things I like most are, there's the coin incident with the helicopter. That was 1973, same year as the Pascagoula incident. And that's a really, really credible story by...
What is that? I've never heard of that.
The coin incident? 1973. It's named after the guy who was, I think, the head pilot in the helicopter at the time. I forget his first name, but his last name's Coyne, Coyne. And he and the other people with him claimed that their helicopter was essentially, they saw a UFO, it emitted a green light that filled the whole cabin of the copter. And then their copter seemed, at first, before this, it shot towards them, and they braced themselves for impact, and then it popped up above them, shone a green light into the cockpit, and seemed to take control of the helicopter. As they tried to descend, they were being pulled up. So that's their statement, and it's a really credible one. They all stuck to it. There's a lot of articles about that in the papers. By I think Lieutenant Charles Hall. I think he was the lieutenant at the time. Maybe a colonel. I think he ended up being a colonel later. but you know the Rendlesham Forest incident, correct?
Oh yes.
Okay, yeah. So that's another material story. But the things I like best are police reports, because they're the front line. Because there is no, still to this day, even the All Domain Aerial Phenomena Resolution Office, I believe is what it is now. They only take military reports, so there's no official organization for civilians to report UFOs. So the police, more often than not, are the people or the organizations people turn to. And there are so many police reports out there that are just amazing. And there's even a tape of the whole Trumbull County, Ohio incident, I think. That was 1984, maybe later. But there's a whole...
What, can we hear that somewhere online?
Yeah. Type in Trumbull County, Ohio, UFO. I think a police dispatch tape. So that's an amazing story, and there's also plenty of documentary footage of the police officers themselves telling the story. I mean, you're of classic saucer right over a squad car shining a brilliant light down that lit up the area like daylight. So that's an amazing story. I love police reports.
Those are interesting. Do you know
mycap.org and I'm sorry, QFOS, Center for UFO Studies, which is Dr. J. Allen Hynek's group. They, you know, these groups are not like really active, but they maintain active websites. So you can find a lot of these kinds of reports in their archives. You've got archives for the unexplained. If you go to files.u.se, they're based in Sweden. You can find all kinds of magazines and documents and stuff there. There's just amazing resources all over the web. And I'm friends with David Marler, who's a researcher. He wrote Triangular UFOs, Estimate of the Situation. And he has extensive archives in New Mexico, physical archives. You can make arrangements to visit. I lived out in New Mexico for a year and a half, around 2020, you can imagine why. And he's got he's got the QFOS files, the Center for UFO Studies. He just acquired the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization files, and he's got the National Investigation Committee on Aerial Phenomena files, all the physical files, and a lot of Project Blue Book files, and he's still getting more and more. He's started a nonprofit organization, and he's looking for, he's basically got this in essentially it's a converted garage right now, a big one, but he's hurting for spaces and for a new building. But that's just an incredible resource, physical resource right there. And also, if you look at a lot of local universities, people often donate their archives to their local universities, so you'll find stuff all over the place. So yeah, like I said, so much is available online. And when I write my weekly blog for Martin at Podcast UFO, when I write my blogs, I put links to all my sources, so you know, that people who read my stuff can investigate everything I just saw for themselves.
All right, this has been great. I mean, I love talking to you. I'm going to bring you back because I didn't get nowhere near all the questions that I wanted to ask you this time. So we're going to do another part 2 to this. But Charles, why don't you tell them where they can find out more information about you or anything else that you're working on?
Oh, you just go to podcastufo.com. You can see my weekly blog. I turn it into an audio blog that Martin puts up on podcast feeds and YouTube. And books available, Crashed Saucers and Malevolent Aliens, available at Amazon.com, as well as The Flying Saucer Investigators, the first book.
All right, Charles, this book is called Crashed Saucers and Malevolent Aliens, The Emergence of the Popular Modern UFO Myths in the late 18th, 20th century, sorry about that, in the late 20th century, and this this is available everywhere. Charles, many blessings to you, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
To find out more about our special thanks to our co-creator and executive producer, Kyle, who brought this show to you today. And working hard behind the scenes, our team of 4, I want to thank them as well. Follow us on social media and share the show with others that may like the subjects that we cover. I am your host, K-Town, and you're listening to Mysterious Radio.
%of business leaders say AI is a top priority.
In such a framework, the UFO phenomenon becomes a mechanism that can bring mankind only so far in teaching it how to get in true step with time and space. This is similar to the thinking of John Keel and Jacques Vallée at the time. Steiger's interview with Phillips shows the nuts and bolts point of view of the phenomenon. Steiger describes Phillips as being an inspector for the Missouri State Highway Department at the time. As for his involvement in the UFO field, according to Steiger, Phillips, at the time of the interview, had investigated over 150 UFO reports over a 9-year period and worked with Dr. J. Allen Hynek, who was a scientific consultant for Project Blue Book and was the director of the Lindheimer Astronomical Research Center at Northwestern University. According to a profile of Phillips written by Kevin Randall, he began investigating UFOs in 1964 and met Dr. J. Allen Hynek during the investigation of the Socorro UFO landing. At the beginning of the interview, Phillips describes how he came to specialize in physical trace cases. According to him, while he was having dinner with Hynek in early October 1969, Hynek commented that, after all these years, it seems that it is about time we started looking into specific pieces of the puzzle rather than running around trying to get all the information from all around the world. He suggested that Phillips specialize, and Phillips tells Steiger that he, Phillips, decided that the hardest evidence available is a ground effect. Phillips became well known in the UFO community with his investigation of a landing report in Delphos, Kansas. The case involved 15-year-old Ronald Johnson and his parents, who all reported seeing an object on November 2, 1971, that was 8 feet in diameter and 10 feet tall. And the ground was a ring that they said glowed at night. Mrs. Johnson reportedly touched it and experienced numbness in her hand and on her leg when she went to brush off her fingers. Phillips, then a member of the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization and founding member of the Midwest UFO Network, which would become the Mutual UFO Network, arrived on December 4, 1971, after being contacted by Hynek. When Phillips got there, he saw a rain of unmelted snow covering the area at the time. He took samples of the soil and described it as being dry to a depth of 12 inches and containing a white substance. The samples were analyzed by Dr. Harold A. Farouk, a research fellow at the University of Nottingham, who described finding an alkali metal salt of an organic acid. In an article written by Joe Herbat, headlined Hard UFO Evidence, the Ted Phillips Story, posted August 12, 2015 on anomalien.com, Harvett wrote that Phillips quit researching after Hynek's death in 1986 and explained that it wasn't any fun without my friend. According to Harvett, Phillips returned active research in 1990 after Jacques Vallée convinced him to pursue his important work.
First time skiing?
That's right.
Okay, when I nudge you down the mountain, just go for it.
It's hard to do something if you don't know where you're going. How is this? A letter out from Cypress Red Union sees the resources to practice money management and develop the audience they need when it's time to step out on their own. See what Fortune can earn up to $200 and the learn bigger account at cypressski.com. That's introduced.
Sometime during the late 1980s, the number of incidents involving large flying objects dropped considerably. At the same time, reports involving very small UFOs increased dramatically. According to Harvett, Phillips noticed that these sorts of reports tended to be repeated in certain areas, and it occurred to him that this gave him an opportunity to go to such an area with equipment at the ready to analyze the phenomena in a way that hadn't been done before. The Molly Woods provided him that opportunity, and Phillips described the investigation there, conducted by himself and fellow researchers during a lecture at the 2009 Ozark UFO Conference. According to him, a property owner in the area called him 10 years previously and told him that he and his neighbors had had some unusual sightings and asked him if he could do some investigating and explain it. Phillips told his audience that he told him, well, probably not the explaining part, but I'll sure come down and look. This began an investigation that was still ongoing at the time of the conference. In the beginning of Phillips' lecture, he compares the Marley Woods to Skinwalker Ranch. He describes what was reportedly seen at the Marley Woods as far back as 1937, some of it by him personally, and presents pictures taken of some of the phenomena. According to him, there were 302 reports of amber-colored lights, 186 plus of small light bulbs, 2 mystery lights that appear consistently in the same spots, one in the north and one in the south, a light mass that stays in location for 1 to 1.5 hours, 71 physical trace cases, 15 reports of structured objects, 6 reports of people being affected by an unseen force, of cattle horse deaths, and 13 reports of a large unknown animal. Phillips says that his first ever 4 years of research was of 5 amber lights on his 7th trip 13 called the Special Investigations Unit that worked at the Marley Woods and was prepared to go to any site fully equipped for a detailed investigation. The team included Thomas Ferrario and Debbie Ziegelmeyer, both divers, Adam Johnson, a documentary filmmaker, and Rodney Diller. Footage shot by Johnson of one incident involving a light can be seen on YouTube. A peacock can be heard in the background that seems to be reacting to the light's appearance. On November 12, 2010, Phillips appeared on the webcast Conundrum, hosted by Jay Michael. At 35 minutes 46 seconds, Michael asks, "Do you think that these things, whatever they are, devices, UFOs, are physical when they appear, or do you think that maybe they're non-physical?" Phillips replies that he thinks, for sure, the old classic saucer types definitely are physical, at least in certain points in time. He points out that compaction tests of indentations found at reported landing sites consistently indicated weights of between 7 and 14 tons. He also mentions damage to trees in the area. He goes on to say that he's beginning to think that there are points where some of the objects become not physical. Phillips advises caution in associating UFOs with paranormal activity, such as ghosts and poltergeists. However, he speculates that these might be a product of advanced alien technology, a product of their being, or an effort to confuse the issue. He brings up Jacques Vallée's views on UFOs and the paranormal and says, "I now tend to bend that way." It seems that in the 36 years between his interview with Steiger and his interview with Michael, Phillips had come to lean towards the same ideas Steiger explored in his book. At around 8 minutes into his 2009 speech, he says that after what he's seen at the Marley Woods, he's gone through a profound change. He says, "For years, many years, I was known as the nuts and bolts guy. After seeing some of this stuff, it's cut shorter to just the nuts guy." Charles Lear is the author of The Flying Saucer Investigators, available at Amazon.com.
To find out more about our guest and all others, please visit our website at mysteriousradio.com. And I want to give special thanks to our co-creator and executive producer, Kim Kyle, who brought this show to you today. And working hard behind the scenes, our team of 4, I want to thank them as well. Follow us on social media and share the show with others that may like the subjects that we cover. I am your host, K-Town, and you're listening to Mysterious Radio.
First time skiing?
That's right.
Okay, when I nudge you down the mountain, just go for it. Shift your weight to turn.
It's hard to do something if you don't know what you're doing. How do I stop?
Point the tips of your skis together so it looks like a slice of pizza.
A Learn and Earn account from Cyprus Credit Union gives teens the resources to practice money management and develop the confidence they'll need when it's time to step out on their own. See how your team can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypruscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Yeah, sure thing.
Hey, you saw that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes. Picked it up.
Alright, give me 1 sec.
confidence they'll need when it's time to step out on their own. See how
God.
your team can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypresscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Honk if you need anything. First time skiing?
That's right.
Okay, when I nudge you down the mountain, just go for it. Shift your weight to turn.
It's hard to do something if you don't know what you're doing.
Point the tips of your skis together so it looks like a slice of pizza.
A
Hello.
Learn and Earn account from Cypress Credit Union gives teens the resources to
made
practice
it
money
to
management and
work.
develop the confidence they'll need when it's time to step out on their own. See how your team can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypresscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Pizza!
First time skiing?
That's
Oh my
right.
God, this one
when I nudge you
again.
down the mountain, just go for it. Shift your weight to turn.
It's hard to do something if you don't know what you're doing.
Sorry. Same commercial like twice in a row is ridiculous. Sometimes we give it 4 times in a row. It's even more ridiculous. Oh my God, again.
A Learn and Earn account from Cypress Credit
Oh
Union
my
gives teens the
God.
resources to practice money management and develop the
They did
confidence
it
they'll
3
need when it's time to
times.
step out on their own. See how your team can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypresscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Honk if you need anything. First time skiing?
Oh my God.
Nudge you down the mountain.
4
just go for it.
times.
Shift your weight to turn.
It's hard to do something if you don't know what you're doing.
Point the tips of your skis together so it looks like a slice of pizza.
A Learn and Earn account from Cypress Credit Union gives teens the resources to practice money management and develop the confidence they'll need when it's time to step out on their own. See how your team can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypresscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Pizza!
Statements and opinions by guests of Mysterious Radio are not to be considered as endorsed by sponsors or affiliated networks. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this podcast without the express written consent of Mysterious Radio is strictly prohibited.
Get ready for a night filled with conspiracies, strange places, the paranormal, UFOs, legends,
How is everybody? Oops.
Naturally, I'm going to have Bobby on here more than once because she's wonderful to talk to. She knows so much about the subjects that she does cover, and I encourage you to check that out. All right. Now, also, concerning Bobby, if there's something on that blog that you want me to talk to her about specifically,
There we go. Cold out there. What's the deal? No. Are you going to bed, Mom? Or are you in bed?
upgrade is basically allowing these people to win. If you, however, have that knowledge, then you understand what you could need to do to go forward.
I see. But what I'm saying is it can influence the behavior of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look at some of these obelisks that are in very powerful places like New York City, London, Rome. Rome has something like 13 ancient Egyptian obelisks alone. What do these cities have in common? These are power centers, these are financial centers, cultural centers, religious centers, in the instance of Rome. And it's there to pervert the teachings and the energy that the earth naturally has. So the earth itself, if you leave it alone, is a healthy entity, and it has, very strong, powerful energy meridians crisscrossing it all over the world. However, when you decide to pervert that energy, then that's obviously going to have an effect on your consequences.
I see. Alright, so let's get into some of these places that you say are soaked in this negative energy. Now, I want you to clarify because I read your blog, and obviously my listeners haven't yet, but you mentioned Machu Picchu in Mount Shasta and Sedona, Arizona. And we're going to talk about these each one because you also talk about the experience with all these places, which I find fascinating. Thank you for doing that. Now, Machu Picchu, is this a place that has vast amounts of negative energy?
Well, it has a lot of energy, period. I mean, it's a very, very powerful place. But what's happened is that it's one of the most visited sites on Earth now in terms of tourism. And people don't realize that there's an impact when you have millions of people going through the same place and they're bringing their psychic debris there and they're leaving it. And it takes a long time for the sites to recover. So I personally, when I went to Machu Picchu, I didn't feel a thing there. I thought it was a bit of a Disneyland, tourist Disneyland, quite frankly.
What country Machu Picchu is?
It's in Peru. It's an ancient Inca site. It's an ancient Inca city that was built up on top of a mountain. I'm sure people have seen pictures of it. It's one of the most famous archaeological sites in Peru and in the world indeed. It was a site that the Incas built hundreds of years ago, way high up in the Andes Mountains, to basically hide themselves away from the conquering Spanish conquistadors. And the site was actually not discovered until very early this past century because it was so high up in the overgrown jungle.
You want to drive a semi before? I've never even driven before. Well, stick here to go. Stomp on that pedal to stop.
It's hard to do something if you don't know what you're doing.
What's the stick for? Just wiggle it now and then to shift gears.
A Learn and Earn account from Cyprus Credit Union gives teens the resources to practice money management and develop the confidence they'll need when it's time to step out on their own. See how your team can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypruscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Just here. I need to go into work. Listening to UFO stories. No get. Just wiggle it and then shift. How many times are they going to give this one? What's up, guys? Grandfather Martin.
something called the harmonic convergence, I believe, and it's had to do with the 25-year, lead up to 2012 in the Mayan calendar type of thing. So it became a huge New Age hotspot, and people started, flocking at Mount Shasta after 1987, and that's when the story started about underground cities called Telos, Lemurians living underneath the mountain, people apparently having visions of underground cities, people having visions of ETs, people seeing a lot of UFOs, and a lot of, people having a lot of spiritual experiences up on the mountain. What's happened is that there's the original caregivers and guardians of the mountain, the Native American tribes, the Winnebago, and they consider the mountain and the spring on Mount Shasta one of the most holiest places for them. And what's happened is that the New Agers have started to go up there, and it got so bad that the entire area was degraded. Like it was, the meadows were basically denuded, it was just off the spring. People were camping out on the mountain and not picking up after themselves. They would go to the spring and eat like, plastic angels and plastic trinkets or, crystal rocks. Or even, putting in the cremated ashes of the dead into this holy spring because it was apparently a big power plant. And if you're talking to Women in Winter, that's a big no-no. This is a holy place. Why would you dump your dead into a holy spring? So in that way, to the credit of the U.S. National Park Service, they had done their best to bring Mount Shasta and Panther Meadow and the springs back to life. So now it's a very restricted area. They're trying to let the grass and the trees grow again because it got so bad in the past 10, 15 years and what was going on up there.
So, you visited Mount Shasta?
I have twice, yeah. And it is indeed a very, very powerful place. But one thing I think I'd like to mention about ley lines and these power plants, they drive with your own energy. So, if you're not going to have the same reaction of these places that everyone else has. For example, like I said, when I went to Machu Picchu, I didn't feel anything. It didn't resonate with me at all. Because now I realize my energy is different. It is not incompatible with that place. However, there are other places where I had fantastic spiritual experiences and visions. So just because a place is very popular and very powerful doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you because it's not necessarily in alignment with your energy. So if you want to have those kinds of experiences, you got to figure out your energy, what's going on with you spiritually, and align yourself with those places that are compatible.
Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but how can you find them? How are they finding these ley lines?
Well, what's really interesting is that there are a lot of researchers. There's another fellow named Paul Devereaux. He's by far the most prolific writer and researcher. He's made the most connections between neurons and our psychic consciousness. So he's written a lot of books like Sacred Geography, Line Hunter's Guide, Earth Memory, and so forth. But what's really interesting is that ley lines are not taking the high from ground. So a lot of researchers out there are going out there to find out ley lines in their own area. One of the biggest markers, like I mentioned, pilgrimage routes, that's a big indicator of a ley line. But when you have ancient trees, if you have ancient stone circles, if you have a huge incidents of UFO sightings, if there's, and sometimes if it's a pure ley line, sometimes you go there and you just feel amazing for no, visible reason. Something is just shifted in you. There are some places you go there and you just feel terrible and you don't know why. And then if you do some research, you find out, wow, there's a ley line here and there's a really bad massacre a couple hundred years ago. So it means that you've got to put on your boots and go out there and walk and be open to receiving some of these energies. But some of the great indicators are ancient churches, like I said, ancient stone circles, old trees that are hundreds of years old. If you have a pole with them nearby, that's usually an indication that there's something powerful going on there. And people who are just going out there discovering the ley lines and writing books about them. I know there was a recent book
Todavía estás
levantada by Natalie Zaman, and she talks about ley lines.
Honestly, going. A semi-before. I used to be a truck driver. Really? Knock if you need anything. Oh my goodness, I could not give the same man. I know. Who wants to go into work? Not I, Captain, but I'm here. It's cool. You know how it is. When it's your Monday and you gotta go into work. You really don't want to. Because you have to work 8 nights. But I got it. Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up, yo? What's up, bros? What's up, bros? Oh my God, someone's gonna be waking up. What else is? Yo, what's up, fools? Welcome, wake up, fools. Kidding, I'm just bored. Just getting ready to go into work. Yep. Got like what? 20 minutes? Oh, yo, what's up? Kidding. What's up? Not that serious. You know how it is. gotta get ready for work. Camp button outside. There we go. So going to bed, fool? Oh, it's so bright, that light. Bright light. It's cool. Yes, I do. Like that much. Yeah, tengo mucho flojera. Just a little. Well, I'm starting to see a lot more grave shift people. Don't want to do this. I can poke myself. What's up? I forgot what I was going to say. Who forgot something? not seen Osiris. See my son. Time for me to get off, going into work. I will see you later.